Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Building, Zoning, and Economic Development meeting. Today is January 15th, and it is now 4 o'clock. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Chairperson Patty Smith.
Here.
Vice Chair Shweta Bate.
Here.
Alderman Carl Franco.
Here.
Alderman Mike Seville.
Here.
Alderman Bill Donnell.
Here.
5 present.
Thank you. So our first order of business is 24-0988, the approval of the minutes from the Building, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee meeting that was held December 11th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Franco, a second by Alderwoman Bade. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item moves forward. Clerk, do we have any public comment today?
We do not.
Thank you so much. We're starting our agenda with 24-0982, an ordinance amending Chapter 49 of the Code of Ordinance, City of Aurora, by modifying the zoning map attached thereto to rezone vacant property located at 627 South Lake Street from R-4 two-family dwelling districts to R3 one-family dwelling district. Hello there.
Hello, I'm a field associate planner. Oh, okay. Alrighty. So the subject property is currently owned by the City of Aurora. It is zoned R4 two-family dwelling district, and it is located north of the old Lincoln Elementary School. So the city is currently working on a project that takes inventory of all the city-owned properties and is determining course of action. So for this, it would be rezoned down to R3 to match other parts of the neighborhood, and then be able to be sold and turned into a single-family home. The property does meet the R3 standards, the lot width and lot area, and the lot width is currently 66 feet wide, and the lot area is 10,890 square feet. Is there any questions?
Alderman Seville.
When did we originally purchase that lot?
I'm not.
Was that recent memory? Does anybody know over there?
What was your question?
When we purchased this lot?
627 South Lake.
Do you remember that purchase?
I kind of do, but I can't remember the time frame.
It's been many years.
Been a long time, many years.
And do you remember what the reason was originally why we purchased that to begin with, Alex?
I believe it was a tear down.
Okay. And they didn't need extra parking for the development that occurred?
Alex Alexandru, Chief Management Officer. Good afternoon. So if you're talking about the development adjacent to it of the Lincoln School,
Yes.
We had offered it to the developers, and they looked at it and they declined.
Oh,
Interesting.
So
Okay.
our next best planned highest use is to
Yeah, okay.
get a house built there and get it on the tax rolls.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
any other questions?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Seville. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item moves forward. The next item is 25-0004, an ordinance establishing a conditional use plan development and approving the Galena Hotel plan description for the property located at 116 West Galena Boulevard. Hello, Jill.
Good afternoon, Jill Morgan, Senior Planner. All right, I was going to kind of briefly introduce the project and also have the developer here who has a presentation and can also to answer any questions. So this is establishing a conditional use plan development with a plan description to allow for 21 micro units. The details of this include a plan description to allow residential on the first floor, and to allow small units with a minimum of 220 square feet. This is a rendering of the front facade. The project includes redeveloping the historic Galena Hotel, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. The building opened as the Fox River House in 1862 and was also known as the Hutton House after the original builder operator E.D. Hutton. And the building has operated as various hotels from 1862 until present day. The current plan is to redevelop in 21 micro units ranging in size from 260 square feet to 550 square feet. The only major change to the building, another rendering. So here is the built rear facade. So the major change is this new rear elevator addition and a new rear stairwell. The developer works with the city and the State Historic Preservation Office because they are using preservation tax credits for the project. So that we work really hard between all entities, including the entity that handles ADA compliance for the state, on creating this rear elevator access to have minimal impact on the historic building, so we're able to get it slightly lower so it's not as visual impact from the front, as well as the addition of that second stairwell on the rear. A new metal enclosure will also be added to around the dumpster and other HVAC equipments, and that will meet the state what you see it throughout the downtown. Staff also worked early on with the developers to really understand micro units as well. The developers to provide MOA and other departments with information about micro units as it is new for Aurora. The information provided showed that micro units provide affordability for residents desiring to live in urban areas, providing convenient access to jobs, public transportation, amenities, and entertainment. Typically, they have higher occupancy rates than other rental apartment types. They rent premiums of 25 to 100% per square footage compared to larger units. They're sustainable, and they will be the developers feel a large, entirely untapped market for Aurora. It also helps preserve the historic building and preserving the interior stairwell. Most of the interior has been changed through the different redevelopments through the years, but the historic stairwell will be maintained with the development. Is there any questions for staff, or I can bring up the petitioner?
Alderwoman Bade?
It's great to see that the elevator will be attached. So this elevator will have card access for residents?
Well, I'm sorry, what access?
The card key access, or anybody can walk in and take the elevator?
You can only, I'm not for certain. I'm assuming anyone but me, the developer. I assume you walk into the building, anyone who has access to the elevator, but I'm not certain.
The
It's me,
petitioner,
developer.
can you answer? Want to come up and introduce yourself and answer the question?
Good afternoon, Fernando Borrero, the developer. So the elevator will only have access from the inside, and only residents will have access.
Okay.
Correct.
And from the picture, from the slide, from the presentation, the top floor stairs, they look little dangerous. People can just go up and go on the roof.
I saw that as well.
On the rear or the west side of the building?
It should be the back side, near the elevator.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would only be on the third floor, but everything will be secure.
Secure,
Correct,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, and this graphic, we can actually, it could be just estimate. right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a little stick man up there walking
Yeah,
on the,
exactly.
on top to
Somebody
the
can-
roof, yeah.
How are you planning to secure it?
So steel rails around it,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Alderman Denell.
So you have a full stairway on the back, but you have like the original fire escape. Do you have to keep that for historic purposes, or?
Correct, and also for accessibility, so that will be refurbished.
Okay.
You have to have both?
Correct.
Alderman Seville.
And what does the market rent turn out to be? What are you anticipating?
Base rent will be $1,050.
1,050?
Correct.
And you'll be signing a minimum 12 months leases?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any information as to how long you expect people to be living there? Is this a short-term, or is it long-term? What do you
yeah.
think?
So ideally, we're targeting working class professionals, and our leases will be minimum 12 months. So.
I understand, but do you anticipate people staying
I
longer?
believe so, yeah. And
Yeah.
and the reason I say that is from the real estate I own surrounding the area.
Yeah, I'm just curious how transient it might turn out to be,
Turnover.
so,
Right.
yeah, okay.
Alderman Franco.
So I don't like to get into market rate and what you're gonna charge and stuff, but if you do the math for a 220 square foot unit at 1,050, if you go square footage by a foot, that means for a 660 square foot unit, which there's a few in Aurora, you'd be paying $3,000 a month. I don't know, I mean, you guys know better than I do, but that seems pretty pricey per foot. So you actually think you're gonna get those rates because, you know, I think you could, for $400 more, you could get 3 times the square footage in somewhere in Aurora. So I'm just wondering how you look at that, because that's kind of scary to me.
Right. So if you look at how you're looking at it, I would admit it does look pricey, but
Right.
if you look at it from a perspective that 1,050 base rent, it's going to be the cheapest downtown Aurora, right? So for somebody coming in that's a working professional, maybe works in the city or maybe works downtown Aurora, right? It will be affordable in a sense, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do. I guess maybe I look at it through a different lens. I look at bang for the buck, and I'm trying to put myself in that position. I'm like, for
You're
$300 or $400 more, I could probably get, you know, 500 or 600
You're not
more square feet.
25.
That type of thing. And maybe I'm in a different situation or the thing. It's just different. You know, it's just, if I look at it per square foot, I'm like, well, you don't get bang for the buck. You get it cheaper, but you don't get bang for the buck. So you guys do your research and stuff like that. I was just kind of surprised, I guess.
Right.
The question is.
And again, this kind of goes back and forth with some of the real estate that I own around the area, right? So right now, if I get a call, if I get somebody inquiring about a unit, and it's surrounding the downtown area, they're mostly looking for a studio or one bed,
Sure.
right? So if a one bed, let's just say a one bed is 12, 13, or 1,400, right? They always ask, well, do you have a studio available? My price point is this figure, right? So the concept kind of came from that. Originally I was thinking bigger units, but just to make the numbers work and reduce the gap, that's kind of how it all ended up working.
So, okay, let me ask you a question then, because I think 500, so the largest ones are 550 square feet. I would say that's probably your smaller ones in other spots. What do you think that one will go for?
550 square feet?
Right, your biggest one, you're
Right.
starting as 1050, so I'm sure that's the 220 square foot. So the
Correct.
550 one, approximately what would that
So
be?
around 1,350. And the reason I say that is because the bigger units,
Right.
the smaller units will have the best view. They'll be on
Right.
the second and third floor facing Galena, right? The other ones will most likely be facing, the ones that are bigger in size will be facing Old Second Bank or facing River, right?
Right.
Which River, again, also has a great view depending on where the unit will be located in the building.
Sure, okay. Well, actually, that jump is not as much as I thought it was gonna be. So that seems very reasonable. So I'm just trying to figure out the mindset of a young person or somebody who's can only afford so much, how they would look at it going in.
Right.
That second half, the larger one, that doesn't seem, that much. The smaller one does. But again, you guys are doing the research on that.
Right.
You'll know the marketing on that, so, okay.
Alderman Franco, that ship has sailed for you doing the mindset of a young person.
Well, thank you.
I do have a question. You had referred to the capacity being more successful in this, I don't know, this could come from you, in this type of a building versus a regular apartment complex. What are you basing that on?
That would be some of the research that
Does that make
was
sense, the
provided.
question I asked?
Yeah, so the concept here works because of the square footage, right? The square footage and location, right? So if we were to do this, let's just say off of Orchard or off of Farnsworth, right? Here, it's within walking distance to, right, the Paramount, you got local restaurants and so forth, right? Even the train station, even though it's, it's a little bit of a stretch, but, on a nice summer or fall day, I think it's doable.
Well, if you live in Chicago,
Correct.
you're walking that far to get to the train station
Correct.
without a problem. I just wondered, because you said it was more successful than a regular apartment complex, and I just didn't know what you're basing
Oh,
that off of.
So, meaning the number of units,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes.
So the numbers just didn't work out. So
Okay.
here, I think before, when I introduced this concept to the city, I think they were only thinking about 7 to 10 units because of the square footage, right? So it's only 6,600 square feet. So if you think about it, the number of units that are going in here, it's like the best bang for the buck.
Okay. Alderman Denell.
I guess a question for both staff and for petitioner. I understand that parking's not required in the downtown core, but I think some of your folks will want to park somewhere. Have you guys been looking for maybe something to work out with local or city lot for parking for this?
Correct. I think it most likely would be city parking for this, just due to the fact that Old Second, it's private parking, but they also have the Paramount parking, I believe, as well. So it'll be difficult to, so we figured city parking would be best.
And I know there's a lot behind the Hobbs building,
Correct.
the graffiti lot, whatever you call that.
Correct.
So in trying to read through the city's information, if you had a parking pass for that area, you could only be there for 48 hours before you moved. Is that correct?
We have some overnight availability. You have to work that out with the permit.
Okay.
But there's some ability for overnight parking.
Well,
Some of
I
the
think it's
ones
important
not
to
true.
try to find some parking, because I know we're starting to have parking's starting to be a little bit more of a tougher thing in downtown, which is good.
Right.
But, it'd be nice to try to deal with that. I don't know that, and at $15 a pop, you're not gonna park in the garage either, so.
Right.
Right. Definitely.
Maybe somehow we do something like they do in the city where you get a permit, pay for a monthly, when we get to that point, pay for a monthly permit where you can park on the street in a certain place. That's how they do it in Chicago. So perhaps if it comes that that's a need, that could be something that we could possibly figure out. Because this is going to be just the first of others that we could have this issue with long-term.
When I was at the Mayan for a while, Stope Island Garage for $35 a month, I could park there every day. So you can get your
there
monthly
you go.
parking things, and it's fairly reasonable. It's a little bit over $1 a day, but obviously you got your spot all the time. So there's availability. It's just a matter of what you want to do with it. So
And then once the casino moves, we'll have more availability
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Any further questions?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Seville. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This item moves forward. The next item is 250022, an ordinance changing the name of a portion of Suncrest Drive to Suncrest Court, located north of Wing Point Drive, located in Kane County, Aurora, Illinois.
This a little smaller for you guys so you can see.
Do you want to do the next one too? Or do you want to do them together or just do them separately?
We can just do them separately,
Okay,
it's
go
fine.
ahead.
Basically, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong one. When the Linden's Unit 3 in 2002 got recorded, it got recorded as Suncrest Drive instead of Suncrest Court. However, the addresses are actually off of Court. So this was brought up by Kane County to us, so we're just here to fix the issue.
So the addresses are correct.
The addresses
It's
are
just-
correct.
It's documented
The-
incorrectly.
The documented at Kane County is incorrect, so we're fixing it with Kane County.
All right.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Donnell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This item moves forward. And item number 250024, an ordinance changing the name of Elm Street to West Park Ave, located between North Lake Street and North River Street, located in Kane County, Aurora, Illinois.
And the same thing with this one. In the mid-90s, we realigned West Park Avenue to align with Elm Street, which is that little small section by Wilder Park. We never officially changed the name. However, we changed the sign out there saying West Park. There is the apartment building that is addressed off of West Park. So all the addresses are right. It's just that we need to officially change the name.
Alderman Seville.
We did change the name once, but
I-
apparently it wasn't recorded in the county.
No, I had looked in all of our ordinance. I could not find anything.
I remember us doing it.
I could not find it anywhere. I looked at all through our ordinances.
Ooh, are you challenging Alderman Seville's memory? Ooh, this could be good.
I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt if we redo it. So if we did do it at one point, we probably did not record it because,
Yeah.
like I said, I couldn't find anything. So we could just record it.
No, I
and-
understand,
Or
yeah.
redo it and record it if
Yeah.
there, if we actually did do it, but,
Yeah.
yeah, the county did not have a
Yeah.
record of it.
So the nightmare on Elm Street continues then.
Yes,
No longer.
yeah.
Because I do remember, because I lived in the neighborhood at the time, so.
Yeah, I looked all through our old ordinance resolutions and I could not find anything.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
He probably has it tucked away somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're hiding it.
Okay.
I'll look in some
You
old
got it
files, dust them
All
off.
right, well, so moved again.
Second.
All right, so moved again from Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Seville. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That is all that we have today. No need for closed session, and motion for adjournment by Alderwoman
Second.
Bates, second by Alderman Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That is the end of BZNE.